Was Leslie? Leslie's not here yet. No. We're all set, Pam.
Said she might not
Okay.
make it.
Okay. So I'll call this Town of Vinalhaven Board of Selectmen meeting to order for Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. Roll call is Tom Anthony, Don Young, Leslie Dyer is absent, Pam Alley and Lad Olson are on Zoom. And we have Elizabeth Bunker and Marjorie Stratton. Motion to approve agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Approve minutes from the March 26, 24 meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Approve and sign treasurer's warrant number 41.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? And number 5, communications, Town of North Haven, underage drinking. Marjorie, do you want to?
Well, I got this from Rick Latimer, and he's asking the Board of Selectmen if they would like to get together with the North Haven Select Board to discuss the underage drinking. I profess I don't really hear about things like this and don't really know. I apologize. I don't know a lot about it, but certainly, as we discussed, it's a good idea to get together with the North Haven board. In any case,
Exactly.
it's a good idea. And Brian Feeser, the principal, is here to possibly discuss what he knows about the issue.
And I'm sure, like, unlike me, Brian probably never done that.
Yeah.
Not in Maine anyway.
Not me.
Yeah, I think it'd be important for Brian to give us his thoughts if he wants.
Oh,
Put him on the spot.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just hoping to listen. I'm not opposed to the two boards meeting at all. I'm thanking Pam for forwarding the letter. I hear of some underage drinking at school, but not being in the class, we don't hear about it as much. I asked the teachers around and they're like, I don't know, they all kind of had the same opinion that I had of like, yes, it's happening, but I actually think Vinalhaven students that are in school, the amount of drinking is significantly lower than it has been in the past. I'm not naive enough to think it's not happening. I'm not naive enough to think that students on their weekends or even after school never do it. But the teacher's opinion for Vinalhaven students were that it's definitely better than it has been historically, and even in like my time here in the 12 years, it's definitely less. In the lab that Sean, the North Haven principal, went to the board and didn't say anything to me is, I was just curious about if there was something that set it off him. Him and I could definitely talk about it in and of itself. Like, I know there's students that go, it's a student that lives on Vinalhaven that goes to school on North Haven. I know that their kids play sports on our team down here, which is great. But when you mentioned that it's happening on both sides of the thoroughfare, they even acknowledged, or Jeremiah acknowledged in there that this is a law enforcement issue. That definitely is. If I were to take a guess right now and want to say which kids aren't doing it, like, I would just call their parents and start thinking. If I knew about it, I think that's a great first step. If they can say, or if Sean can tell me, hey, it's these kids on Vinalhaven that are doing it, I'd be like, well, here's what I heard, and I'd call the parent, be like, I'm just the messenger here. But so, I think it's a great idea to, for everyone to get together. I'd be happy to work on I don't know if the board does small committees to think about that. I don't know if North Haven and Vinalhaven want to have a joint committee. I'd be happy to participate in it.
Is there a student council at school?
There is a student leadership team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then maybe get them involved.
that'd be a great idea.
Something like
There,
that.
there,
On both, with both schools.
yeah, I don't know if North Haven has one. But I'd be happy to ask.
I mean, to get students involved in that type of discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, we can discuss it at this level, and we all know what we did when we were kids,
Yeah.
but we've been out of that realm for an awful long time.
Yeah.
Most of us. But to get students involved in that discussion would be a cool thing.
You know, drinking is obviously an issue, has been forever with underage drinking. But I gotta say that the bigger concern to me is drug use rather than drinking. You know, I'm not saying drinking, not trying to minimize it,
Mhm.
but I think we have a lot more issues with that with young people than we do with the actual alcohol.
Yeah, well,
Well-
and underage drinking, I think spans different avenues, like, I mean, I went out on the pond, the quarry this winter ice fishing, and there are kids that I know are not 21, but they're also not in school. And, you know, I mean,
And you're
that's-
not their parent.
Yeah, and I'm not their parent, and, you know, and I personally find it great that kids are like, hey, if he's gonna be here, you can't have that drink out right now, which,
It shows a little bit of
Thank you.
respect.
thank you for the respect, like,
Yeah,
you know, so I appreciate that, but so I know, you know, so there, I think it's twofold, it's,
Mhm.
is it school-aged kids, or is it kids that are 20,
Right.
you know,
Hmm.
and I have even less control over the kids out of school.
So do their
like
parents.
zero.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that anybody does. Like, and so, that was just I don't know, I mean, since it was Sean and came to the school, my assumption is that it was school-based, and I mean, I'd be happy to talk to Sean myself, or reach out to him. Well, whatever you guys are up for.
Well, I know certainly I talked with Marjorie earlier today and we discussed the fact that a few years ago, we did, the two boards did meet about something unrelated to underage drinking, obviously. It was several years ago. And we had thought that a good thing would be to get together at least annually, if not semi-annually, to meet together. Either they come to Vinalhaven or we go to North Haven, or do one, you know, on each island. And I think that's important, and I think we should continue or try to start that, because we clearly interact with each other, and it's not like it used to be years ago when North Haven and Vinalhaven were more rivals than we are today. But anyway, that's, you know, we can see if they want to set up a meeting at some point in the next couple of months or whenever, and if they still want to discuss all that, Brian, and you want to be a part of that, whatever anybody wants to do, I think we should pursue it, though.
So just reach out and try to set up I think their board meets during the day.
Yeah.
At least.
No, they meet at Wednesdays at 5.
Oh, okay, thank you.
But I think
My
it is,
stern man and roommate that's here, he's on the board up there, so.
I was just gonna say, wow, Lad, you're right on it here.
So I'll just respond and try to work out
We could have
time
had a
that's
joint
good.
meeting now if Scotty's there.
I wouldn't restrict it just to the drinking, though. I think we have a lot of mutual issues we need to discuss, like the ferry and like,
Law enforcement.
law enforcement.
Well, I
Yeah,
think,
in all
Marge, that's-
reality,
I don't know who I just interrupted, I'm sorry.
sorry, it was me. I was just saying, as far as the underage drinking thing goes, like Jeremiah said in that letter, it's a law enforcement thing.
I
You know,
agree.
besides asking the cop to, and I don't even know what you can ask the cop to do, because as far as the crossing back and forth on the thoroughfare, one side of both sides of the thoroughfare that are crossing this private property, you know, we have that lease or whatever up on our side, but Brown's is private property, so, you know, the cop can't just go do whatever he wants, you know, hang out down there or whatever without permission. So I don't know what.
I don't know how that would work. Well, anyway, Marjorie, if you want to get in touch with them and we can try to set up meeting at some point and people write down thoughts that they want to share with their board. And Brian, if you're interested and you think you have something to offer in the conversation, then that would be great.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm interested. I don't know what I'll have to offer. But, but and if
Well-
you, like Tommy said, if you have any interest in students participating, the closer you get to June, the less
The tougher it's gonna
interested
be.
they're gonna be
Yeah.
in participating.
Right.
Especially
Well, I think-
upperclassmen.
Yeah, which is most of the student leadership team
Yeah.
are juniors and seniors, and the seniors, especially the seniors around June,
Yeah,
will have some other priorities, I think.
yeah, from
I
now
think
to-
we should first establish the, get established with getting a meeting, and then we can discuss what we want to do after that.
I agree.
Okay, all right. Is everybody else set? All righty. Okay, hey, Brian, thanks a lot.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for inviting me.
You
Have
don't have
fun
to,
at the art show.
you don't have to be invited,
Oh,
Brian.
he's got an art show to go to, so.
I'm headed off to the art show.
He's got kids that
Brian, you
did art.
don't have
so
to be
he can-
invited. You can come anytime.
I
You
feel
can take
very,
out papers even.
I feel very welcome. Yeah, you know, I feel like there's a conflict of interest there, right?
Thank you.
Isn't it
No,
school?
no, not really.
I'm gonna tell myself. Thank you, guys.
See
See
you,
you,
Brian.
Brian.
Okay, moving on. Speakers from the floor.
He just left.
Seeing
Crickets.
none, I don't see any speakers from the floor. Committee and departmental reports and appointments. Woodard and Curran. Status report.
Does
And
anyone
that,
have any questions about that? I did receive another invoice for the transfer station, but they still have to finish up the fence work. And we're hoping
Mhm.
that will be done in the next 2 weeks, and then we'll get the final.
What was the check for this, in this warrant run?
Just part of the construction costs.
At the,
That wasn't the final,
at the transfer station?
yes.
okay. 7B downtown project. That's Gabe. Hi, Gabe.
Hi, everyone. So hopefully you received my monthly project report from February and March. I don't know if folks had any questions on any of that. The one change since that was submitted, we did just learn today that the bid opening has shifted yet again, but just to Thursday. So it was originally scheduled for tomorrow, which was a revised date, and now it's scheduled for Thursday afternoon. So Marjorie, are you able to attend that 4 p.m. on Thursday?
Yes,
Okay, I am unable to. I don't think that'll be an issue, but I cannot be there because I have a prior commitment.
okay.
Would you send me that link to, I think I have it from Megan, right?
She should have sent it to you, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. That's correct. She did.
Okay,
And-
okay, very good,
And be there. I would like to be there if I have
great.
not busy laying under a palm tree.
I know which one I would opt for, Pam, but
I could do both.
that's true, that's true. No one needs to know. Yeah, so I think I don't think I have any other updates other than what I shared at the last meeting, the change in bid opening date. I mean, we're just continuing to move forward. A lot will be revealed once we know who is bidding and who that contractor will be, and we'll have more concrete information and be able to move forward with some more of our community outreach. We have some tentative May dates for Brent to come out with designs for phase 2 of the project, which again is the boat launches, the parking lot designs, and that will probably be like mid-May is what we're looking at, but we'll definitely let you know, because the intent would be that he would come out during the day, we would meet with project stakeholders so folks can come to the town office, you know, look at the designs, offer feedback. We want to meet in the parking lots when boats get in, you know, if in case fishermen want to, you know, look at the designs, especially the fish plant parking lot redesign. And then that evening, we would want to schedule some time into the select board meeting for you all to, you know, be able to see the designs and offer feedback. So Brent could present the designs, and then we could have a little discussion about the design components and get your feedback on them. If that sounds okay, we like I said, we don't have any hard and fast dates yet, just thinking mid-May, and we'll definitely, as soon as we have some more concrete ideas, we'll confirm that with you and get it on the schedule, if that sounds okay with everyone.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I don't think I'm missing anything, Marjorie, but that seems like the latest. Can you think of anything else that's at top of mind on the project?
Not that we haven't already discussed.
Okay.
Okay. What about well, when are you gonna do that water district building?
Yeah, well, why don't we move to that if folks are all set on general downtown project stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so I submitted a memo that had two components to it, not related necessarily, some both involving downtown to some degree. So this what I mentioned at the last meeting was that the part of phase 2 that incorporates relocation of the water district office, there's kind of sort of the two sides of it, which is one, there's a transaction between the town and the water district that needs to happen, which is, you know, hopefully the outcome for, you know, the water district is they have a new facility to move into and will relocate from their current location. And in exchange for the new facility that they will be inhabiting with a long-term lease from the town would be that the water district will relinquish their ownership, their co-ownership of the net factory site property. So there's some components to this that require us to have an understanding between the town and the water district in order to move forward with the project. So the other piece of it that Marjorie and I are working on with the attorney is sort of what's the legal aspect of it, and what does the town need to do and what does the water district need to do sort of in terms of public process. Our understanding is that end of things is more sort of once the water district has a facility to move into, then that transition of property could take place. And so we're still trying to determine with the attorney, like what that looks like in terms of public process, and, you know, where's their voting by the community, you know, what are additional decisions that have to be made on the water district's end and the town's end. So for now, in order to proceed with just designing the building itself and sort of working through, you know, the location of the building, what we're planning on is the wastewater treatment facility site. You know, hopefully that's going to work. That's the intent. But we need to just both agree, meaning the town needs to agree and the water district needs to agree on what's outlined in the letter of intent that was included with the memo in your packet. So I guess I'll sort of leave it at that and see if folks had questions around the letter of intent, thoughts, concerns. Oh, and I will just say one thing, which is, and I raised this with our downtown project meeting on Monday, Pam, with Mike Ames, was that I noticed in the letter of intent, it said a 50-year lease, and that's not what we had originally discussed. We talked about a 99-year lease.
Mhm.
So I will follow up with the attorney to find out why that was changed. And we'll get it put back unless they're gonna come back with some crazy argument as to why. And I know that they represent both the water district and the town, so we'll see what they say.
I did
But
notice that it said that,
yeah,
and I
so
wondered what what was going on, but
yeah, I'm not sure why that was changed. So I'll follow up on that.
okay.
So from the rest of the board, just thoughts, questions, considerations, and I will just say one more thing. I need to get clarity around, and this is clarity from the attorney, like who is signing this, because there's only one spot for a signature on the copy that I have, and I'm not sure if each party is getting the same agreement but signing a separate one, or if there should be two signatures, one for the town and one for the water district, and both are signing the same document. So I will get clarity on that. Today, I just want to get an understanding from you all, like, are you comfortable with the letter of intent, with the idea that the select board would need to sign it?
The grant itself is just the planning stage.
We're talking,
That's a separate, I think.
Can you say that again, Tom?
Letter of intent is to apply for a grant, correct?
No, I'm sorry. The letter, oh, sorry. Is it's probably called a letter of, is it called a letter of intent, Margie?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I have on my
There's
memo,
two
letter
things
of
on the-
interest. There's always,
wait, I'm sorry.
is it? Yeah, it's either a letter of interest or a letter of intent. I think it's a letter of intent.
So there's two things on this memo. I think it
Oh.
was confusing.
Got it. Yeah, got it. Okay, I see it now. Thank you. Apologies for any confusion. So Tom, what the water district letter of intent, and I assume you guys, do you guys have that in your packet?
Mhm.
Okay,
So at the back of that packet is a letter that we will eventually have to sign, that we agree with the water district trustees about how this transfer of property and that we're
Okay.
gonna build this building
Yep.
for the water district offices.
Gotcha.
I know it's a little bit early, but has anyone started to think about what the budget would be for this?
Yes.
yeah, we have it in the grant. I think we have around, and I apologize, I should know this just looking off the top of my head. I can tell you in just a minute here.
Isn't it 300,000 or?
350.
Yeah, it's we have 317,000 as written in the grant currently. We might be able to move some numbers from the other portions of the project around if we need to allocate more than that, but that's what's currently in the grant budget.
The grant, but I guess I'm a little confused on this. We're getting a grant as well as.
We got a grant. We got a
And the
grant to relocate the water district office.
Okay, but it doesn't include the building, or does include the building?
Does. Yes, it does.
So that would be part of, covered by the grant. I guess I'm looking at what the town's expenditure would be on this project.
The town, so this is part of the Northern Border Regional Commission grant, which is what we call like the phase 2 of the downtown project grant. So it's part of that, it's a component of that grant. The town and the state combined matched $1 million to Northern Border Regional Commission's $1 million grant. So we've already secured the funding. The town has already allocated the town's portion of match, which the state, sorry, I'm not gonna have all these numbers clear, but there's the state contribute a portion of the match, and the town contribute a portion of the match from the harbor reserve for this grant, the Northern Border Regional Commission grant.
Already been budgeted, allocated, done
Exactly.
deal.
Yeah.
What we're doing here is just signing a letter of agreement, basically, between the town and the water district.
Right. It's just clarifying. Correct. It's clarifying that both the town as a party in this transaction and the water district as a party in this transaction are agreeing to the same thing. And that will
Mhm.
enable us to move forward with the project, meaning the town can then work with the water district to design this structure, and we can move forward with the process of what that means to, have the water district relocate, go through the whatever legal process it is to transfer the property, give the water district that long-term lease.
All those lovely hoops you have to jump through to.
Exactly.
But Gabe, I'm not quite clear on this. So this grant would be, a grant and the the partnership with the state and the town is roughly $2 million, correct?
That is
And
correct.
and is that just for the water district, or is that what else is included in that?
Yep. So this grant, the Northern Border Regional Commission Phase 2 of the downtown project, includes the reconstruction of the parking lots. It includes the 2 boat launches, so reconstruction
Okay.
of the 2 boat launches.
You covered that. We don't need to go further. I just
Yep.
want to make sure that I understood it now.
Make sure we're paying $2 million for
That's
water.
what I was getting a little concerned about.
No, the budget amount as stands currently, and like I said, we can maybe push some numbers around within the total budget, but as it stands now, it's 317,000 that has been allocated to the water district portion of the project.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get to.
Okay, thanks for the question.
So do we need a resolution on this, or is this just a heads up that it's coming?
So, go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is, it probably would be good if you're comfortable with it as it appears now, but knowing that where it says 50-year lease, the intent was it was supposed to say 99-year lease. So with the intent that would get changed to 99, are you comfortable with it as it stands? In which case, whatever kind of motion needs to be made to, I'm not sure, Pam, if you're gonna sign it and sign the water district portion as well. So someone needs to sign it, I think.
I don't feel comfortable, really until it's, clarified that it's 99.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I think we also have to wait for the water district to review it and approve it, which isn't till the 30th, that they're going to do that. So, I think it's okay, for us to wait. I just want to make sure that, you've seen it, you're comfortable with it. And then when it comes time to sign it, we're not going to be like, oh my God, now we need to change this. So we're just trying to move, I think, closer to someone signing it. And like I said, we still need to figure out, is it one document that both parties are signing, or what does that look like? So we'll work on that end of things. So probably no more on it tonight, I would say, unless Marjorie, you feel otherwise.
Yeah, we just, most importantly, we want you to be aware of the process and ask, if you have questions, to please ask us. If you, for instance, read it later and say, oh, well, what does this mean? Certainly ask me or ask Gabe, because we want you to be comfortable with it.
So you really have no idea why the lawyers changed the date the term?
The number of years?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
So it'd be interesting to make sure that they had a reason for it.
Could have been a typo,
Yeah, it's just,
as simple as
it's worth asking, why.
Yeah, we'll definitely going to be following up with them, just in general with our questions. So that was one of them, that we have is,
Okay,
changing that back and finding out, why it was changed. Yeah, so if everyone's okay with that, my next question from the memo was related to a whole nother thing, as of yet to be applied for grant, a project that is being headed up by Maine Sea Grant out of University of Maine. And it's really just another opportunity. So the thing about this project that strikes me as being relevant, which I stated in the memo, is that there have been conversations just, around the community, as well as with the Sea Level Rise Committee, of sort of like, we're doing this downtown project. It's got some, sort of 20 out to 2050 type adaptations that can help with flood mitigation. What we're looking at in long-term planning as the short term, but what happens, beyond 2050, and really like, what are the strategies for dealing with flood mitigation, when the water rises so much that the things that you've done to adapt between now and 2050 no longer really work. And so a lot of communities, along the Eastern Seaboard have looked at relocation. They've come up with relocation strategies. They're using that as a way to deal with flood mitigation. So a lot of communities in Maine are asking the same questions, but have done nothing really to explore that. Some have, most haven't. So this project really is taking a few pilot communities that might be ready to kind of explore that idea in general, and then doing, some level of cost benefit analysis around, like, what are all your options for assets that, are impacted by flooding and sea level rise, and is relocation one of them? And if it is, like, what does that look like in terms of cost benefit? So it's a potential opportunity. This is just a letter of interest. We don't have to do anything. If the Maine Sea Grant is invited to apply for this grant, there will be money in the budget for participating communities. So likely that would just, involve, like stipends or support for the town. There's no financial management on the town's part. There's no involvement other than really, like, the Sea Level Rise Committee may be doing some outreach and engagement and conversations, likely maybe with you all, maybe with Marjorie, but it's not really defined yet specifically. It's just a potential opportunity. And the Sea
So
Level
no
Rise,
financial commitment?
no financial commitment. And like I said, if anything, there would be money coming to the town to support any type of effort on the Sea Level Rise Committee's part, or community engagement stuff.
Money coming to is good.
Yeah, we don't see that often, right? Where grants are
I
gonna,
like those kinds of transactions.
So are we just looking for a motion to include Vinalhaven in the letter of intent?
yeah, and really, like I said, Vinalhaven will get mentioned in the letter of intent if you, or I should say letter of interest, if you
Letter of
all
interest.
make a motion to have that done. If not, we just don't include Vinalhaven in that letter. But it would be great to be able to, because real community participation or willingness to participate does help with getting the grant. So
do you,
And I don't see any issue.
do you
with it,
guys
do
want,
you? Go ahead.
could I,
Go ahead.
thank you. So do you guys want to, make the motion to sign the letter of interest? Do you think
I
that's a
move
good
that we
idea?
do.
I'm sorry?
So I would move that we do. I think we should, as long as we don't have a financial commitment at this point in time.
No, it doesn't sound like there is, so I
No.
think.
So why not?
In order for Gabe to proceed, then we should move ahead with it then. Lad, you all set?
That was that motion enough?
Oh, you're
Second.
muted.
Second.
Yep.
Okay, what, would you read the motion back to me, please? What was the motion?
So move to
To-
participate and have our name included in the potential.
Participate.
Agree to include Vinalhaven in the letter of intent to participate in the National Coastal Resilience Fund Planning Grant.
So move.
oh, wow, that's great, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Is it
Nicely
letter of
done.
intent? Just one question. Is it letter of intent or letter of interest?
You
Does
know
it
what?
matter?
I don't think it matters. It's
Okay.
probably letter of interest, but it's fine either way.
Okay, I just
Yep.
wanted to hear the
Thank
motion.
you. Yeah, I think for this, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just so
Okay,
we
great.
have it,
Okay,
that
so,
works.
all in favor? Alrighty, Great, thanks, Kate.
All right, thank you all. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate all your work too. Thank you. Next is 7C Knox County Sheriff's Report. Guess you all saw that. Is there any
Yep.
discussion?
That was, February and March, I believe.
Right,
It looks like Peter's been busy.
yeah, a lot of stuff going on. And if there's no discussion on that, everybody else set?
I don't have anything on it.
Okay, I'm assuming we all had a chance to look through that, so. I'll move on to 7D, Sea Level Rise and Climate Committee Update, Resignation, and Appointment. So we have, bear with me, a letter from Marion Munch Grogan, a letter of resignation from the Sea Level Rise Committee. And then we have a letter of from Maisie Richards that she would like to come on to that committee. So could I have a motion that we accept Maisie's request to be put on the Sea Level Rise Committee?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Okay, great, thanks. Good to know people want to be on the, step right into somebody else's shoes. That's great. Did you
And
have any?
then I believe, yep, Kevin is on Zoom and he has a couple of slides to share.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm gonna switch my screen. Slideshow. Is everyone looking at my screen?
Yes.
Terrific. Hi, nice to meet everyone who doesn't know me. My name's Kevin Donovan. I'm one of the newer members of the Sea Level Rise and Climate Committee. And tonight just wanted to give you a quick update on some of our work. And as we had just mentioned, a quick update on the committee membership, which we'd already covered. Perhaps most excited that we are to present is that last month we announced the launch of Vinalhavenweather.com, which is a new website connected to weather monitoring stations at the ferry terminal and airport. The site offers up-to-date and historical meteorological measurements, along with a live feed of Carver's Harbor from the ferry terminal. In addition, we've also updated the townofvinalhaven.com website with links that drive to the vinalhavenweather.com website. And as you can see on the right there, we've also updated the subpage within the townofvinalhaven.com website that speaks to this project. Some of you may have also noticed that we shared the launch of this website in the wind, and we hope to in the future to continue to promote the vinalhavenweather.com website to the community by using measurements from the site after storms and flooding events for other promotions, both in the wind and perhaps through the Town of Vinalhaven's Facebook profile and other channels like that. So this is overall just a really an important part of the Sea Level Rise and Climate Committee's emphasis on citizen science and data collection. It's been a long time in the making, and in particular, the committee would like to thank Matt Wall, who's a mainland engineer, I'll call him, is largely responsible for setting up these monitoring stations and the website itself. But also local resident Craig Jewell, who was instrumental with helping Matt with a lot of the builds on the island. So thanks to both of those individuals in particular as we launch this site. Any questions from the board about vinalhavenweather.com or the monitoring stations?
I have one.
Great. I'm glad that they're finally going to be working.
Yeah, very exciting. And I've worked with Matt Wall a little bit on it, and he had to sort out a lot of issues one after the other. So it was great that we were able to really get it online and start sharing it with the community at large.
Yeah, cool.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Are you measuring click-through rates so you know how much usage you get on these sites?
We haven't talked about that yet, but I think that's a That's a great suggestion. And Gabe, if I'm correct, that would be something that we would follow up with Matt about. But nonetheless, we'll look into that, and hopefully that's something then that we can continue to present back to the board, because that is a really good point. It shows whether or not we're getting uptake and use of the website.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Did you have a question?
Thank you.
Did you have a question?
Thank you.
Are you, is that it for you, Kevin?
Sorry, what was the question?
I said, I was just asking if you had more to add. Are you all set?
I have a few more slides, but nothing else. Nothing else from me on vinalhavenweather.com.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe Gabe or other members of the committee has mentioned this before, but in addition to our overall sea level rise projects, we are taking on some climate related projects, especially those that can be supported through grant monies. And in particular, this LED streetlight project is partnering with Fox Island Electrical Co-op with a grant to audit the streetlights in Vinalhaven, identify where there's potentially more streetlights than needed, and then replace the existing streetlights with dark sky approved LED lighting. So right now, FIEC is working behind the scenes to assist an auditing company with a GIS mapping of Vinalhaven streetlights, but the project is rolling out and will be taking place over the next couple of months. Stop right there. And any questions from the board about the LED streetlight projects?
No, but I think that's awesome. I mean, with the light pollution, I think it's great.
And in particular, that's one of the reasons we're emphasizing when we talk about this dark sky approved, because we have heard some concern that LED lights will actually, in fact, be brighter and contribute to light pollution, and that is not the case. The lights that will be the LED street lights replacing them will have this dark sky approved.
Yeah.
Qualities.
Cool. Great. That's good. Thank you.
We'd also like to share a program that our committee is working on in partnership with the North Haven Climate Working Group. The program's a 5-week climate ambassadors training. It's offered by a Climate to Thrive, which is based out of Bar Harbor. The training is intended to provide participants with tools that can be shared with the community, ranging from information about climate change, as well as directing people to resources about energy efficiency, electrification, and other important tools. In particular, we're sharing this today because there are still a couple of spots open if anyone would like to participate in the training. And the training itself is free. And if anyone is interested, Gabe has information on how to join this program.
Okay. Is that, I'm assuming this is in the wind?
I believe we've put it in the wind, but if not, then we'll go ahead and do that probably. I'll check in.
I'll say Elizabeth was kind enough to put it on Facebook, just because it actually starts this week, and we didn't know if we had all the spots filled. So we only, we really only knew this week that we had more spots. So we didn't get it in the wind on time, but it is on Facebook. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
No problem.
Okay, awesome. A lot of work going on. That's good.
Yeah, like stuff going on. Something that's on the fun side that we're excited for is in March we received approval from the Gulf of Maine Research Institute to use grant monies from that organization for the purchase of a drone that we plan to use to document flooding and coastal shoreline changes. The committee's idea here is to sort of get before and after photos, send the drone up from key locations along the shoreline to take photos the day before major expected storm and flooding events, and then after the events have occurred, to from the same location get an after photo to have some photographic evidence to document changes to the shoreline through storms. Pictured is the drone that we've purchased. And also, I thought this picture was going to look cooler. That's Vinalhaven during the path of totality yesterday from the drone, but didn't see anything too interesting, or at least a very beautiful photo, but didn't see anything in terms of the actual eclipse. And in addition, this drone, we selected it because the remote controller connects to a smartphone where you download an app. And it's also very, very easy to use. So anyone can use it. And we plan to hold a little flight school and take the drone out and educate anyone and get people set up on their own phones and apps if they themselves would like to, join the tide trackers and our work on documenting shoreline changes. Any questions about our drone?
No, just more interesting information here.
And then we've already covered this item. We just covered this item. So much thanks to Munch Grogan, 8 years of volunteer service on our committee. And as we were just talking about with the vinalhavenweather.com, Munch was also a very instrumental part of that process all throughout. But as you were saying, Pamela, we're very excited to bring in some fresh blood with Maisie Richards, and hopefully she'll be presenting in front of the board sometime later this year.
Yeah, good. Yes, and I agree. Thank you, Munch, to Munch for all of her dedication that she had for all the projects due to, concerning sea level rise. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yep, that's it from me. Thank you all for your time and attention today. Before I sign off, any other questions on what we shared today?
That was a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you,
very
Kevin.
much.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thanks.
evening.
Bye now. Oh, that was really interesting. Okay, 7E, Public Works.
Millie couldn't be here. She apologizes, and she is also at the art show with her children tonight.
Right.
But she did ask me to get permission to sell the aluminum ramp that came out of the thoroughfare site. So no,
We have to do that by a sealed bid.
I recommend putting it out for sealed bids in order to get rid of it. It's in good condition, and she's had some inquiries about it.
Yeah, I would say recommend that she do that.
Definitely sealed bid, so.
Is there, I don't know what the specifications are of it or what kind of shape it's in, but is, in some of the projects that we are using, is it something that we can repurpose in some downtime project stuff?
I'm not sure. Are there any well, the ramps that we're doing are the boat ramps.
Mhm.
Well, you got the ramps coming
concrete.
down to the floats.
I'd have to ask Jim. Are there any? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's more of a question for Jim. I mean, we don't have anything particular in the project like that, but I would assume I don't know if Millie's spoken with Jim. I'm assuming she has, but if she hasn't, he would be
I
able
would
to
think
say.
she would be aware of any place that it could be used. I can't believe she would just want to sell something if it couldn't be put somewhere else.
Worth checking though.
Other than that, I have no problem getting rid of it. I mean, I'd hate to sell it and then have to build something similar.
No,
Hmm.
I think it's sealed bid if we don't have you use,
Right.
but I would check make sure that it's not, how big is it? Anybody know?
I don't have the measurements. I'm sorry. I should know that, but I don't. I'm sorry.
Because that kind of would tell.
Could you talk to Millie before?
Sure.
I see I can't believe she wouldn't have some idea about all that, but would you just speak with her and see, and can I say that if you feel satisfied that she's looked for any other use for that, that she, that you could give her the go-ahead to put it out to bid?
Sure.
Yes,
All right, everybody all set with that? Okay. Old business, special town meeting warrant, purchase of residential property.
We don't even, I don't even have enough people to sign this. Oh,
No, not tonight, you don't.
I'll just proceed to talk a little bit about, I was speaking with our bond counsel about this. I'd never, been in a position to help a town buy a residential property. I've certainly dealt with borrowing funds from Maine Bond Bank and from different banks around the state of Maine. But this is a little bit different. So I was asking, and the one of the issues that he brought up was, well, we don't really know what property you're asking the town to approve buying. And while he said you could move forward with this article, which is just, you know, an amount of money to buy a residential property. But ideally, when you go to a town meeting, you should be more specific, and possibly the townspeople would want to know what they're purchasing more in a more specific manner, like what property are we buying?
Mhm.
And he kept bringing that up. So I'm mentioning it because that was an issue that he thought might arise in terms of, you know, going forward with the town meeting without really knowing what you're going to buy. So,
I think, I mean, I certainly can understand that, but I don't know, I see this any different than, purchasing the budgeting money to purchase a truck for public works. You don't know what truck you're going to buy, but you put aside a certain amount of money in anticipation of buying said piece of equipment. This is a piece of equipment,
Mhm.
although it's real estate property, it's real property, but it's
mhm.
still just a piece of equipment to be utilized by the town. That's my way of looking at it.
I'm just trying to do
No,
my
I understand.
But,
due diligence
Yep.
with his concerns.
but if we did do that, are we paying interest on money that we aren't? I mean, would it just be how does that work? Does that, we don't want to pay interest on money until we,
We're not borrowing any
yet.
money.
We're gonna have the authorization to do so if it's something arises that makes sense.
There's no mortgage until you actually take out the mortgage, so there's no interest being paid on anything.
well,
until you
I'm
actually-
talking about the money that we're getting from the bond bank. Is that,
We'll probably be just going to a local bank.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do bond bank for this.
okay, but would we still be paying interest on money that we aren't using yet? I mean,
We wouldn't borrow the money until we had a purchase and sale agreement.
Exactly.
okay. So Marjorie, you got a good idea or a suggestion about having two people form the committee, two board members have a committee that would look for properties and give suggestions to the board.
Well, what's happening is that, you know, I've been getting calls, about, properties that may or may not be going on the market, that the town might be interested in. But we certainly don't want to discuss it. It's not public information. And my idea was to have maybe two selectmen as a committee, work with me and look at properties that are available. And then come back and make a suggestion to the full board. And we can do that, the executive session rules allow us to go into executive session if we're talking about a transaction of buying property, because obviously it's not in the the owner's interest, you know, they don't want the information out there in the public. We don't want the public to,
Yeah.
you know, it's,
Makes perfect
it's,
sense.
it should be more confidential information. But then, if we have more than two selectmen looking,
Mhm.
and,
Then it
that
becomes
becomes a problem because it's a meeting.
Right.
So my suggestion was to have two of the selectmen possibly, if you decide to do that, to look at a few different properties that might be available, and then bring that recommendation back to the full board. And then, as I said, we can discuss that in executive session.
Makes perfect
Yeah,
sense.
that makes sense. That would not,
Mhm.
that would not change the request to have authorization to spend a certain amount of money, once we
Well,
had that.
There would be no
If you-
sense
yeah,
to
if
look
you-
at properties until the authorization's been approved.
Right.
by the
If you
town.
want to, yeah, if you can still move forward with this town meeting,
Yeah.
special town meeting,
Right.
if you so choose.
I certainly am in favor of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say once
Um,
you get approval to borrow the money or, you know, to do whatever, then, you know, form the committee and because if we don't get approved for it, it's kind of,
Right.
Moot point.
Won't need a committee.
I need, so I need a motion, I need a motion to approve the special town meeting warrant. And then I have two.
motion it, even though we don't have enough there to sign.
I would be comfortable if you make the motion to approve the warrant. Then I'll get two signatures and try to get Leslie's tomorrow. If you are comfortable with that, I'm comfortable with
I
it,
am.
because you're taking the vote. You're aware of what the warrant is.
So moved.
Lad, did I send you the warrant, the copy of the warrant? Okay, I couldn't remember if I sent it to.
Move so
So-
second.
So are we all set then? So we need the motion has been moved. We need a second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. Okay, 9, new business. Tax acquired property, map 23, lot 125.
I'm not sure what that one is.
You have a memo in
I
the.
do, okay, in
Yeah.
it somewhere, okay.
So it's Sigward Beckman on Boston Road. We had an automatic foreclosure. My suggestion is to just have a period of time where they have to pay the total that's due. I don't suggest payment plans. You get into a problem with then
No.
being a finance company.
Right,
You don't
no.
want to do that.
Set a date when they have to be paid and move on.
And do you have an idea of do you want to give them 30 days, 60 days?
30 days.
And there's about $2,500 in sewer bills that would have to be paid. So historically, selectmen have tried really hard to put it back into the hands of the previous owner. And usually that works, you know.
How many years
Yeah.
is this?
Pardon?
Just 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
So that would be up to the current year. So this was the 2022 taxes. And in order for the selectmen to sign a quitclaim deed back to them, they'd have to pay up to the current year in
So
order to,
Those 1 year taxes not paid plus the current year. Yeah, correct.
right. I mean, if they had paid when it was due, they would only have to have paid that 1 year. But after foreclosure, historically, what the town has done is say, well, we'll give you a quitclaim deed, but you have to pay everything that's due on that property.
Mhm.
I guess
And
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think it's better to be consistent with these things.
Yeah, no favoritism.
What have we, I mean, have we given a grace period, which is really what this is? Before we put it up, before we put it out to bid, right?
Well-
We're basically allowing them a bit of time to pay up.
Yes,
Have we done that in the past, and what time period have we used?
it's
I
been a while since go ahead, Pam.
I just recall we had one a while ago, it was 60 days, but I felt that was too long. I agree with Dawn. I think 30 days is plenty.
Any other questions about it? And then if it doesn't get paid, that's another whole situation that we'll have to deal with.
Right.
Just gives them a chance to put it together.
Let's see.
Do you need a motion for that, or is it just a consensus?
I'm okay with just writing the letter. I mean,
Okay.
it's an automatic foreclosure.
Mhm.
It's, but once the town does foreclose on a property, the disposition of that property as voted at town meeting is up to the Board of Selectmen. That town, as I put in the first paragraph there, that's what we vote every year at town meeting that gives the authority, to the Board of Selectmen.
It's complicated, I'm sure, but, and it's tough, but how much time is reasonable, and I think we try to comply with what we've done in the past,
Mhm,
and so that we're fair to everyone and don't pick on anyone.
mhm.
Pam?
Oh, no, I'm fine. It's just hard situation. But anyway, no, I'm good on the 30 days and whatever comes after that. All right, 9B, hazard mitigation plan survey.
So, we're starting the process of updating this. This is actually the Knox County Hazard Mitigation Plan, but we participate in this plan so that we can participate in any FEMA emergency declarations, and if we need to apply for FEMA funds, we can do that. So, we had a first meeting with Mark and Millie and myself and Ryan. One of the things that the county is trying to do this year is to get more public input, so they are asking, if you notice, we gave you a copy of a survey. They're just asking people to fill these, just a 2-page survey. If you want, you can go online and fill it out at the, well, I can't really read it over there. But, we have it here if you'd like, if you'd rather do it online, and we also have the paper copies at the town office. I'm talking to all you people out in
Everywhere?
everywhere.
Oh, the Facebook world.
It's just something that the county is trying to incorporate more, community support and input, for the mitigation plan.
I think Ryan has already shared this or the link to it on the town's Facebook page. So
Right.
I think it's a good idea to participate and get the community involved in anything like this.
Right.
And maybe the thing is just to put something in the wind, because a lot of people don't look at Facebook, but they do look at the wind. I mean, just a
did we put it-
notification that's there.
I'll mention that too.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm just
No, I
making a note.
I don't think it was on the town's page.
Gabe,
Just saying, the Sea Level Rise Committee will look at it too. One thing that's really important about the hazard mitigation plan is that in hazard mitigation, all the different FEMA grants that are available, like these include like emergency response grants. So like either planning grants or actual large money implementation grants, these things that we put in the plan, we need to be able to demonstrate that they're like in the plan in order to get funded for them later. So it's good to include, all the projects that where roads flood, culverts, like, so, and, that's obviously like things that Millie and Marjorie and Ryan and Mark know, but just to say, like, if anyone has anything like this road floods, this road, like all of that stuff is really important to include, just so it's in there.
Okay. Thanks. Anything further, Marjorie, on that?
No, not unless anyone has any questions.
Okay. 9C, town report dedication. I think I was the only person who responded to Lizzie's email about that.
And we don't have to talk about it now if you guys want to keep it a surprise or a secret or whatever. But just if you either agree with Pam or have another suggestion, let me know.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go.
Yep.
Thanks, Lizzie.
Mhm.
Okay, number 10, budget workshop.
I just wanted to point out that we still have a few things that we need to work out. One of the things in the public works budget, it's already in the budget on the equipment page, but every year we rent an excavator, and Millie's suggestion is to do a lease purchase arrangement, but she's not here to talk about that. So that's something I'd like to talk about before we finalize the budget. We still need to finalize the ambulance crew wages and the on-call stipends. We've been having this discussion at the budget committee meetings, but Ryan is asking for a significant increase, and we understand all the challenges that emergency management has. And what we're trying to do is entice people to take on more of the shifts for being on call. And instead of paying $20 to $30 per shift, to pay more like 50 or 60. So this is the discussion that's but it will eventually come to the selectmen to finalize those discussions. And then the law enforcement housing, I still don't know what I'm supposed to be putting in the budget for 24-25. I still have what we had in there last year, but that may not be sufficient. So that needs to be a discussion, and we need to finalize what we're gonna do with the capital project reserve appropriations. So those will be down the line discussions that we'll need to have in order to finalize the budget. But I think we're in good shape time-wise. It's just the middle of April, so we have a few weeks to get things finalized. But if you have questions or things that you're thinking about with the budget, please let me know.
I talked with Millie about that excavator. The economics were very favorable for the lease as opposed to the rent.
Yeah. So that's something that we'll finalize.
Yeah.
But then that's another thing that we'll have to maintain,
Yeah,
and it doesn't get used that much. It sits alongside the road 90% of the time that it is rented.
well, that's why we have to discuss it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't wanna go ahead and do that
I
without.
have the number comparison in front of me when we do discuss
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
as well as whether the lease includes any maintenance.
and as I said, I'd like to have Millie here
Yeah,
to
no, perfect.
speak to it.
But
I
I
agree.
get it, your point, whether it's leased or rented, the usage, it's got to be there no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, I think Marjorie's right. There's no sense to discuss it unless Millie can be at the
Yeah,
meeting.
no, by all means. And I think she needs to
That's
be
best way
able to
to
answer the usage side of it as well.
Absolutely. So, that's something we'll discuss at
Yep.
another meeting. And is there any more, Marjorie?
Yeah. So the budget committee has approved, the law enforcement, cemeteries, animal control, transfer station, library, and the donations line. The law enforcement, Margaret was still a little uncomfortable, but they just approved it knowing that we'll have to finalize the housing piece
Right.
at some point. Cemeteries, it was approved unanimously. Ambulance, they tabled just because of that discussion about the on-call stipends and, what to pay the EMS volunteers. Animal control was approved, transfer station was approved, library and the donations. So I don't know if you've had a chance to look through some of these budgets and if you have questions for me.
I did, but I mean, I looked through them. I did not have any particular question, except just some little things that I can, maybe in the donations, I had something. Did you discuss that? I'll have lost my stupid email here.
I just with the budget committee, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On donations, you discussed that, correct?
With the budget committee, yes.
Yeah, okay. And this is just a very minor thing, but I would like to increase the donation to the New Hope for Women. It's $600, I believe.
That's what I put in what they asked for, I guess is what.
Yeah, I would like to donate 1,000. That would be what I would like to do, but I'm not certain anybody else cares about that but me. But I think it's important. Yay, nay?
I think what is the money used for on that, Pam? I'm not familiar with it.
It's a women's health and New Hope for Women. They take care of women that might have some domestic abuse. They help with it's not family planning, but it's just helps women in need.
Domestic violence.
Yeah. They're a
Yeah.
they're a
I know.
worthy organization, I'll put it that way.
Well, that sounds that way, but what other funding do they have? Are they supported by any?
I haven't seen their,
They have an annual appeal that brings in 79,000. And other donations, their donations are $125,000. And they have a business annual appeal. Some of these things that they get revenue from, I'm not familiar, they're all acronyms.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And is this local or is it, what region are we looking at?
Mid-coast.
Mid-coast. Okay.
they're based in Rockland, I believe.
Yeah, certainly I think it's a worthy cause, Kevin. I've supported that one as well.
I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you. Okay, now, let's see if I can find my agenda here. Are we done with this discussion on the budget or for now or no?
I just open to questions.
Okay, that was my biggest thought on what I had read today on the reports that you had out.
Yeah, I don't have any questions, but we have
Yeah.
some more things to discuss, but that happens later on once we know about the cop house and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alrighty, Marjorie, 11, report of town manager.
so there was a budget report for the current budget.
Mhm.
We're 75% through the budget, so I didn't see anything that looked out of the ordinary. Transfer station is usually over at this time of year, and they were right on at 73.8%. Public Works was at 72. So I didn't see any problems, and overall, it's, at 75.9. And that's even, you know, for instance, we've made all of our debt service payments and that kind of thing, which is just a one-off.
Mhm.
So, does anybody have any questions on the budget report?
Nope, I don't. You guys all set that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Report 12, report of members.
I have a couple of things. First, the new deputy, I believe, will be coming to the island, tomorrow, I think.
Mhm.
And be moving in and for temporary quarters anyway. And as we were talking earlier, I do think that there's some major issues in the community with the cancellation of boats and the information on ferry service. And obviously there's some issues here, and I don't think any of us really have a good feel for it. Some of us better than others. But I do think it's almost time for the communities that are served by the ferry should get together at the select board level, not just the advisory level, and send a delegation to the next transportation DOT meeting to express our concerns about the service, not claim, but try to get a better understanding and see what better options might be available, how we address them. And I think it's time to use the politics and use things to, really, how do we work and solve this problem together? Because it is a problem. I mean,
Behind there.
and some of it may not be addressed, may not be fixable. If ferries are breaking down and they're on the ways and waiting for parts. But then the question is, how do we manage? How do they staff and decide what ferries run and what ferries don't?
Well, what do you mean by a transportation meeting?
They have the periodic meeting of the DOT transportation group. And I'll find out more about it, but that there is a meeting of people who are actually Bill Gary's bosses.
Okay,
And
you mean like Bruce Van Note or?
I go higher to go to the committee that he reports to, start from there.
So you're talking about legislators?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't understand what you meant,
Yeah.
okay.
And at the same time, I think it's worthwhile getting some advice from people like Sherry Pangri, even though she's not a state person. Certainly she's been around enough to maybe give us some guidance on this as well. But we haven't been getting it from Holly Eaton, which I was relatively enthusiastic about earlier, that hasn't really had much of a follow-up.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that article in the newspaper
Mhm,
about her,
mhm.
No, I did not.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I read it, Marjorie.
I thought I sent it to, anyway.
At my age, I lose things.
Okay.
It was an article saying that the legislators were, trying to address all of these complaints with the Main State Ferry Service.
But I think we as a group should participate in those, because I think, we represent the town. And if you
Mhm.
walk around town and talk to people, even the people that work on the boats and on in the terminals are all having issues. And I think it's just time to, what's real, what's not, and what options are there.
I guess I just need information on where it is that you were.
I'm just in the thinking phase now, maybe
Okay.
planting the seed that we ought to start
Okay.
thinking about how to address this.
Okay, all right.
Thanks, Don. Anybody else have anything? I do want to discuss the next meeting. I'm not going to be back until the 25th. And Lad, when are you gonna be home? Approximately. Do you have any?
I should be home by the 25th. Every Friday they're supposed to announce where we're at in the quota, but where we had that bad storm and weather after the first week, what they announced, I don't think is an accurate depiction of what's gonna actually happen. So I still think I only should be down here another 2.5 weeks or so.
Okay, well, I was gonna suggest that we have it on the 25th, but then I'm thinking, if we had it on the 29th, would you be home? You think you might be home then? And then we don't still have to go 2 weeks ahead. We could still do,
I mean, I
May-
don't mind zooming into them, and no need to, take huge, seems like when we skip and have long time periods in between meetings, they run super long. So,
well, I'm not particularly interested in Zooming for this next meeting. I think I want to be present.
okay.
For certain reasons. But what I was gonna say is we could still meet, let's see, then be the 23rd or May 7th, we could still, even if we met on the 29th, we could still have the May 7th meeting, so Elizabeth doesn't get messed up with her duties during voting day.
Yep.
It's up to you guys. I'm coming
So
back
we-
the 25th, and I had thought maybe that would be a good, but getting back the 25th and coming right into the meeting might not
You
be
don't-
such a good, I don't think that's such a good idea.
So we still have the special town meeting on the 30th, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so
So,
you're just trying to figure out when the next regular selectmen's meeting is?
yes,
Okay,
Couldn't we do it on the 30th and then have a special town meeting before or after?
that's fine, but I don't know
You don't know
how,
how long it's gonna go. I'm not-
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know how much discussion there's gonna
Yeah.
be. I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of
Right.
people that come out and
Linda, I
talk
hope
about it.
so.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to do is to
Yeah.
get it out there.
I'm-
enough.
I'm fine with the 29th and then
Okay.
special time on the 30th.
okay,
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
that would be helpful. From my point of view, but if you're up for it too, that's good. We can just have our next regular meeting on April 29th and the special town meeting on April 30th.
And then we go to Lad's point, when would we have the meeting afterwards? Any
The
idea?
7th.
7th?
May 7th,
Okay. Okay, sounds like a plan.
okay? And that way we'd get back onto our 2-week schedule, no problem.
Yep.
So. Anyway, you were funny. I don't know when I'm gonna be home.
Glad you already are home. That boat's your home, isn't
No, the hotel room is.
it?
There you have it. All right, if nobody has anything further, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, I'll see y'all when I get home. Thank you.
Enjoy vacation.
Bye now.
We done?
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Since there are just two of us online here.